Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Hey, super quickly here, GamerSupps is once again doing Christmas in July, starting July 25th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to get a free gift with purchase with every tub you buy, then take advantage of this by using code OZ at checkout. Every purchase made does directly support the channel, and gets us closer to a shaker cup. Let's get back to it. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is Wrong Race Baby Throw, posted October 8th, 2015. Me, 26 female, and boyfriend, 29 male, of 3 years just had our first baby. We're white, baby is black. I have a close black ancestor, but significant other is furious and accusing me of cheating. As the title says, me and my significant other just had our first baby. We were over the moon when we discovered the pregnancy, and we were both really excited to have a child together. We wanted to get married next year, and everything was going great. We were happy. We both looked very white, pale skin, blue eyes, brown and blonde hair. However, my great-great-grandpa was black, and some of his features have popped up here and there in our family. Kinky hair, darker skin, more black-looking facial characteristics. My significant other knows this, and has seen some of my aunts/uncles and cousins who have these features. I, however, don't have any myself, and neither does my mom. Our daughter was born 5 days ago, and I guess she just got all of the dormant genes in me, because she's really dark-skinned, compared to us with really curly hair. I think she's adorable, but my significant other flipped. He accused me of cheating, that the baby couldn't possibly be his. I've never given him a reason to suspect me of infidelity, but I've certainly never cheated. We argued about it. I pointed at all my cousins and other relatives who have black features, but he absolutely refused to listen. Said our daughter looked too black for that to be a plausible explanation. He stormed out of the hospital, sent me a text an hour later that we were over, and when I got home from the hospital the next day, he wasn't there, and most of his personal belongings gone. I tried to reach him, but he didn't answer my calls or texts until 3 days later, when he told me he demanded a paternity test to prove that I was a liar, and if I refuse, I'll never see him again. I'm completely broken down and hurt over this. Our entire relationship, he's been so sweet and rational. This is completely unlike him. If he just calmly asked for a paternity test to begin with, I would have been hurt, but I guess I could understand the concerns. Our daughter looks nothing like him. But I don't think our relationship can survive this, even when I proved to him I wasn't lying. Should I go through with the test or just cut my losses here and raise her alone? Too long didn't read. We're white, daughter is black. I have a close black ancestor, but significant other refuses to believe that's the reason. Exploded at me, moved out, and is demanding a paternity test or else I'll never see him again. I'm hurt and angry. Should I get the test or tell him to fuck off and raise our daughter alone? Edit. I decided to get the test done. I'll update you all when I get the results. I'm still angry, but I guess I understand him a bit better now. Relevant comments. Fuck racism throwaway. What a topical username. That's your decision to make. However, in your situation, I do the paternity test either way. If you decide to leave him, it's a nice big fuck you to him, and if you decide to stay, he gets his peace of mind. It's a win-win situation, really. I'd be hurt as fuck if my significant other accused me of cheating, even though I've never shown any signs of it. However, I don't know how I'd react if I had a white girlfriend and the baby came out black. This is probably a 1 in 1 million type of situation, so I really can't say anything else about this. Jersey Blue Caw comments, "You're gonna need a DNA test for child support, so you may as well get one done. What you choose to do about the relationship is up to you, but you're gonna need the child support." OP responds, "Wow, I've been so caught up in this whole drama and taking care of baby, I hadn't even thought about child support. You're right. I'll get the test done, if only to make sure baby gets the best life possible." User Burned Notice comments, "People are surprisingly ignorant of how genetics work. Anyway, get the paternity test. Just for his peace of mind, but understand that your relationship is irreparably broken, and that he may sadly never show your daughter the sort of love or affection a father should show his child. This is a heartbreaking situation. I feel mostly for the baby, and you, of course. But that little girl is going to face a lot of challenges in life, looking like a black child to white parents. Talk to your more black-looking relatives about this, and do research on how to talk to your daughter about her ancestry, and prepare her for some of the more stupid, bigoted, ridiculous things people are bound to say. Opie responds, "Yeah, I imagine things are going to be hard for her, but at least she has a loving mom and a family who can relate to her. I just hope my boyfriend, my ex, I don't even know anymore, will come around and treat her with the respect he couldn't afford to give me." OP responding about her family's history. 4 generations back, my great-grandma and all her siblings look really black. My grandma less so. My mom's generation is the first to have completely white-looking kids, and I don't think so. My friends joke that my butt is so big I must have inherited that, but I don't think big butts are an actual racial trait, just more of a stereotype. Plenty of white girls with big booties. I really wish I could find the context to what this comment was responding to, but I cannot. Update. October 13th, 2015, 5 days later. Hey guys! First of all, I wanted to thank all the original comments who helped me see my significant other's side and calm me down enough to take the test. Well, the results are in, and of course, she's his. The whole process was absolutely ridiculous. I got an appointment with the doctor and texted significant other the time and location. He didn't answer, but showed up. And the entire time, he didn't say one word to me. And he didn't want to touch or even look at baby, and left as soon as they'd taken his sample, despite the doctor asking him to stay so we could go over a few things. Once he left, I just broke down. And I must say, the doctor was really nice. Didn't judge me or accuse me of anything, just calmly went over how the test works and told me babies are often born darker than they actually end up being. Baby was an absolute champ, barely fussed when they drew her blood. I got the results yesterday. I texted significant other the news and asked if he wanted to come over and open it with me. After almost half an hour, he finally responded. Yes, he'd like to come over. I'm thinking he either sent it while on his way or he's not staying very far away because he was here in about 15 minutes. Well, we opened it and read the positive test together. He turned white like a sheet, then just started bawling. I had to shush him because he was crying so loudly. And finally, I got an explanation for his flip out. I mentioned in a comment on the old post that he was an only child to very old parents. His dad died a few years ago, and his mom lives alone a few hours' drive from us. I haven't met her often, but she seemed pleasant enough. Turns out, she hates me. Absolutely hates my guts and always has. I had no idea about this. She always acted kinda snobby, sure, but I had no idea she disliked me this much. When significant other called her to tell her the good news 8 months back when we discovered the pregnancy, she started crying. He never told me this. And as the months passed, she continued being super negative about the whole thing and saying she doubted the baby was actually his. I was below them. Poor people cheat because they're raised in a fucked up environment. What the fuck? And instead of talking to me about this, significant other kept silent while constantly doubting me more and more. Baby being black just put the final nail in the coffin that his mother was right and I was a good-for-nothing cheating bitch. After telling me all of this, we just sat in silence for a while. Finally, he asked if he could hold the baby. I was still angry as hell, but decided that holding her was his right. He's her father, after all. I went and got her from her crib, let him have her, and he started crying again, which scared her, and she started crying too. So they were just sitting there, bawling together for a while. Finally, he stopped, handed her back, and asked if he could come home. I was kinda taken aback. I didn't expect him to just flat out ask for that already. I laid out everything. I said in the last thread how insanely disrespectful and childish he'd been, how he'd horribly broken my trust, hadn't talked to me about his mom's poisonous and ignorant comments, completely ignores me for 3 days not telling me where he is or if he's even alive, and then just waltzes in and wants to start living here again? I told him if he ever wanted to have some inkling of a chance of mending the relationship, we had to go to couples therapy ASAP. From now on, he will answer my calls and messages unless there's an emergency. He will not be staying here for a while, and finally, he needs to tell his mom to back the fuck off. She will not be seeing baby until she apologizes to me in person. He immediately agreed, and finally told me how sorry he was for this whole fiasco. I'm not sure if I can forgive him for this, but I'm gonna try. We had an amazing life before this, and I hope that with a lot of work, we can have it again. Significant other also finally told me that he was staying in a hostel, but it's not very expensive, so he can stay there for a while longer. Baby is doing great, considering how many stress hormones she must have been drinking from me these last few days. Her hair is falling out, but the doctor told me it was normal, and babies often lose most or all the hair they're born with. I'm hoping her new hair will grow in blonde. That would make her even cuter. Thank you all for your help in the last thread. My mom agreed with many of you and thinks I'm absolutely nuts for trying to work things out. But I think it'd be best for everyone if we at least give it a shot, especially baby. Too long didn't read. I'm not a lying whore. His mom is a bitch. We're trying to work things out. I think couples therapy is the right choice in this situation because sounds like OP's significant other had one hell of an abusive earworm, and that was definitely getting to him, and, having just the perfect storm of coincidences line up definitely would cause someone to have those doubts. I'm not trying to justify his behavior, more of just empathizing and explaining it. No matter what, even if they stay together or break up, that toxic as fuck mother-in-law needs to either get her shit together or she needs to just be gone from her son's life because she is a horrible influence. That poor guy. And considering at this point in time, this was nearly a decade ago, I can only hope things have gone well, considering the lack of updates. I do think, and I do agree, that the significant other's reaction was definitely childish and uncalled for. I think that him asking for a paternity test, though, is kind of within the realm of reason here. I mean, after all, you got to imagine having a child with your significant other and it comes out a different race. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a cause for, questions there. For sure. I think in this instance, a paternity test is a very reasonable request, but I think the way that he acted is pretty stupid. I think he was really dumb about it and really selfish. And he let his emotions get the best of him, considering the fact that he is aware of the fact that his girlfriend does have black ancestry. So it is a possibility, a quite literally 1 in a million chance, but it is possible. I don't blame OP if his reaction permanently affected the way that she'll be able to see him. I do commend them for approaching couples counseling, but I also don't blame her for not being able to forgive him for the way that he acted. A paternity test is one thing in a situation like this, but him allowing his mother to earworm him and then going no contact and just kind of aggressively communicating for the next few days, that's a bit childish for a 29-year-old to do. And I feel like he knows that too, considering how he broke down and how he reacted. I don't know. I do hope that over the past decade, though, they've lived the best lives possible. What do y'all think in the comments? I'd be very curious to hear some additional opinions on this one, because I'm taking very much a I hope they're able to work this out kind of line, but I don't blame her for not being able to forgive him if that's what happened. But where do you stand on this one? This post was collected by Secure Raspberry 763. This user's tagline is Madame of the Brothel by default. The original OP is Throw Away Chronically, posted to r/relationship advice June 14th, 2025. My, 29 female, husband, 31 male, wants kids. But I think I want a divorce. My husband and I have been together for 8 years. The last 3, we've been married. Little things keep adding up, and I don't even know how to approach these issues. He wants kids soon, but I can't trust that he'd support me. I'm trying to figure out if I try to work on us or just leave. Recently, as in the last 4 years, I've been dealing with chronic health issues, but just this 1 year alone, I've had 3 surgeries to fix various things for my health. Our sex life hasn't been good in a few years since I got ill, maybe once or twice a month. He has told me that it's not enough and he's feeling rejected and is making his mental health worse, but if we have kids, we won't be able to have sex while I'm recovering. I work 5 to 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts in healthcare. I am the primary breadwinner in our relationship. He bounces from job to job and recently was unemployed for over a year while he was claiming to be applying to jobs. I know the job market is horrible right now, so I wasn't pushing. I found out he was lying. He hadn't applied for anything in about 6 months, including the jobs I got him recommended for through some connections I have. We got into a massive fight and I basically told him if he didn't have a job at the end of the month, I was leaving and he could figure out bills himself. Not even a week later, he was back working at his old job. I still do all the cooking, cleaning, and household upkeep. On my days off, I spend 3 to 4 hours just putting everything in order for the week. Even when he wasn't working, he wasn't doing anything except playing video games in another room while I slept. So when I'd wake up, there would be laundry I'd have to switch or cat litter I'd have to scoop. He wants kids soon, but with my chronic health problems, it's going to make children a really hard process on my body. Lots of health risks, and I would basically have to be on bed rest the whole time and in and out of doctor appointments. I couldn't work or do anything really, and I'm just scared I won't get the support that I need. I don't even know if I want to have kids with him anymore. He gets money every month from a settlement, and he says it's enough to make up for the income I won't be bringing in if I get pregnant. The settlement payout every month is less than 1/4 of what I make in 2 weeks. I feel like I'm his mother already. I feel like I'd be one of those married single mothers. I've asked him about therapy, individual or couples, and he's dismissive, saying therapy hasn't helped in the past. So I've asked about medications, but he doesn't want to take a pill every day. I don't want to come across as horrible or manipulative, but I'm about to write out everything I do, bill payments, chores, time I'm at work, etc., and have him do it all for a month. Then, tell me he thinks we can have kids right now. Edit, same day at 11 o'clock. A few things since this is a real story and not AI, and I am a real person who is making choices in order to keep up with the current economy and situation. 1. I work the hours I do so I can build up my PTO and sick time for my procedures and recovery time. Yes, I have family and medical leave for these, but it only pays out 60% of my wages versus 100% if I use paid time off. Overtime accrues PTO X2 and pays time and a half. We also have a pickup bonus of $10 an hour. I've been working at this hospital since 2015 as a CNA and phlebotomist since 2018 and a resident nurse since 2020. So I have seniority and that comes benefits. Yay, unions! 2. I work night shift because it has the flexibility for my schedule and they work with me for my restrictions. I am lucky enough to work in a hospital that uses lifts and is staffed as well as can be currently. Shift differential also gives me an additional $6 an hour, and that quickly adds up. 3. My surgeries were laparoscopic, and recovery time is about 1 to 4 weeks on average. Surgery 1 and 3 were both exploratory. My second was to remove a lesion on my intestines that connected them to my abdominal wall, as well as a cyst on my ovary, and recovery time was 4 weeks, with 4 more on restrictions. I'm about to have a 4th surgery to remove my gallbladder. Recovery is 1 to 2 weeks with 2 weeks of recovery. Yes, I have had a lot of surgeries this year, but I haven't had any before this unless you count upper and lower GI scopes, pelvic floor testing, gastric emptying test, x-rays, CTs and MRI labs, genetic testing, and HIDA scans. Or maybe the diet changes and medications that you have to be on for months at a time before you'd see any real changes. I also have the birth control implant, and me coming off of that would involve about 3 different doctors' inputs and oversight. 4. I blocked all of my husband's accounts and his friends' accounts that I know of. I plan on deleting this at some point. But I've just gotten angrier with each comment and everything I type out. At this point, I don't care if he finds this. Maybe it would be a wake-up call he needs. 5. Our wedding was supposed to take place in November of 2020. That obviously didn't happen. We rescheduled to the end of 2021 so we didn't lose deposits. He quit his job about 2 months after our wedding. 6. People do things like meal prep for a week and find relaxation in cooking. My hospital provides scrubs. When I am home, I have more than 6 pairs of underwear. So it's not like I don't have clothes if I don't do laundry every day. I appreciate all the comments, but to the rude ones especially, please remember that I am a real person. I'm sorry I have to justify every small detail of my health problems to you. Unfortunately, the knee brace girl in middle school sometimes grows up and still has health problems. Smiley face. This is my first time being alive and not everything is going to be perfect. I'm trying my best, and sometimes people do stupid things because they love someone. Update, July 16th, 2025. Roughly a month later. Hello again, Reddit. My previous post is on my page. I tried to link it, but the pain medication might be impairing me. I had my surgery a few days ago, and since I have time off, I'd figured I'd write an update for anyone curious. It will be long, and I do apologize. Too long didn't read. I tried to have one more discussion with him before I threw in the towel. He asked for an open marriage, and I told him to move out. Papers are being filed, and I have a lawyer. I talked with my lawyer last week, and the hope is papers are to be drafted, and he will be formally served when he comes back from his work trip in 2 weeks. On one of my days off, I wanted to have a discussion about our relationship, and it didn't go well. I had spent the night cleaning and getting the house put together because my anxiety was so bad. When he woke up in the morning, I had breakfast made, and we just made polite small talk. I started the conversation by asking him if he was happy in our relationship. I'll summarize the conversation. Me, are you happy like this with us? I feel like we're roommates more than a married couple. Him, I don't think either of us have been happy for a while. I do still love you and want to raise children with you. You'll be a great mom. I've been meaning to talk to you about something. Me? Okay. Him, do you remember my friends in City and how they were having problems in their relationship after fake name came out as ace? How they opened their relationship so fake name could still get his needs met. At this point, I was just staring at him. He kept rambling on. I've joined some groups online. They said it saved their marriage. And with how much I'm traveling for work, it would be every other 2 weeks, you know, and I'm in city name, so it's not like it would be someone you know or would ever meet. Me? What the fuck? Him. I mean, think about it. We could have a surrogate this way. I know it would be a lot, but we could make it work. You've always talked about fostering or adopting, and it would be just like that. Me. Did you get someone pregnant? Is this your way of telling me you cheat on me when you travel for work? Him. Oh, no. God, no. There was one girl at the bar who was flirting with me, and it just felt nice to be wanted like that. He then pulled out his phone and started showing me support groups he had joined online for poly people in monogamous relationships. There was probably 3 or 4 of them that he had been texting in for the last few weeks, trying to gain the confidence to talk to me about opening up our relationship. He brought up how he knows I've been thinking about switching to travel contracts, and I can meet people there, but when we come back home, we're together and married because we still love each other. I have nothing against people who are in poly relationships. We have friends who are and have met their partners and go out all together. It's just not for me. When I'm with someone, I want to be the only person they're with. I don't want to get tested regularly. I don't want to risk surprise pregnancy. I don't want to feel jealous or wonder if he's texting another girl while he's supposed to be spending time with me. I let him finish his speech before I told him, it hasn't felt like we've been married in a long time. And I'm done. Hearing that he wants to see other people killed any last feelings I may have had. I'm not in love anymore, and staying together isn't going to make either of us happy. We both want kids, but our timelines are different. What we want from the future is different now. I asked him to move out, and he didn't seem surprised. I walked away and left him in the kitchen before I drove to my friend's house since I just couldn't be there. We spent the day drinking and eating ice cream while I went from crying to laughing to screaming. She's currently going through a divorce over her ex-husband's porn addiction and the debt he put them in because of it. How the fuck did he pull that off? She gave me her lawyer's information and... Wait, never mind. Okay, OnlyFans. I gotcha. I just pieced it together. She gave me her lawyer's information and I had an appointment set up with him a few days later. I went home the next day and he had moved most of his stuff out. His side of the closet is empty. His cat, the stuff in the bathroom, a few of our wedding pictures have been taken off the wall, and I can't find them, so I think he took them, and his gaming setup. The house feels incredibly empty now. He travels for work, so I'm used to being in the house alone, but now my toothbrush is lonely in the cup on the sink. Our garage feels bigger now. The bed gets cold. I only have to cook for one now. I miss his presence. I miss having someone to come home to, and I won't lie, I've spent the last week crying, and my heart hurts." We didn't speak for a few days after he left. His mom reached out before he did. She wanted to see how I was doing, and if there was anything she could do for me. We had a great relationship, and I'm honestly going to miss having her in my life. We have a lot of the same dietary restrictions, but for different reasons. And she was my food adventure buddy. We would go out for coffee or lunch to some of the few restaurants and cafes that we can safely eat at. She invited me out for coffee, and I went. When we met up the next day, we made small talk until the divorce came up. She let me know how he was doing. He moved into one of the houses on their property. They have like 60 acres and 4 houses on the property that different family members live in. He hasn't really gotten out of bed. She's worried about him and wanted us to talk it out. She asked if I was willing to go to couples counseling and told her I'd been asking for that for about a year, and his response was no. I was drowning and he didn't want to help fix it, but now that I've decided to leave is when he wants to work it, and I just can't. She stayed silent for a while before asking me if I still loved him. I do, but I don't. I told her I loved who he was, but I'm too full of hurt that I don't feel that love anymore. I can't keep taking care of him like he's my child. I can't keep bankrolling our lives alone. I need a partner who is able to support me, and I haven't felt supported by her son in a long time. We were both crying by the end of our talk, and she gave a really big hug before leaving. He wanted to talk the next day, and he came back to the house to talk. When he came in, it was awkward. He wanted to give me a hug, and when he and I did, he went for a kiss, and I turned my head so his kiss went to my cheek. We talked for a while about our relationship and how it got to this point. He apologized for a lot. He went into specifics of how he never helped around the house, how he could have done more since he was home. It wasn't fair to me that he put it all on me. He told me he's looking at a new job, one where he doesn't have to travel and it's actually in the field he got his degree in. He gave me an update on his cat, who is struggling to the adjustment of the new house. I told him I'll have papers for him in a few weeks, and he couldn't look me in the eyes for the rest of the time he was there. I helped him pack some of the odds and ends that he left around the house, and he left again. At the appointment with the lawyer, we talked about what it would look like for the divorce process. Unless he wants the house, I plan to buy his half. If I do that, then there's a good chance I won't have to pay alimony unless he fights for it. He has the potential to make more than me, so my lawyer doesn't think I'll have to pay anyways. We don't have children, unless you count our fur babies, and I took a pregnancy test recently to confirm I'm not pregnant, so that won't be a factor. We each have our own cars and pay for them ourselves. We have a joint savings, but I can prove I've been the only one contributing for the last 2 years, so it's likely I'll get most of that. I'm not touching it besides for the bills for the house per my lawyer's advice. I will hopefully have papers for my soon-to-be ex to fill out, and if he gets a lawyer to look over. My 2 cats have been lying in bed with me and haven't left my side since he left. They're trying to make me feel better, but it's hard. My friend, who is also getting a divorce, has said that we'll have a hot girl summer together, and it makes me laugh, but I don't think I'm ready or even close to it. I don't want to meet new people. I don't want to do first dates again. I think I'm just going to be single for a while. My mom sent me this poem after I told them about the divorce, and it makes me cry reading it. I've learned a lot from this relationship, and I'm content being the old crazy cat lady for the foreseeable future. OP then posts the poem. I will never love the same after you. I was always the girl that loved so hard that it hurt, until it hurt. I watched you change every day until you eventually became someone I told myself I would never settle for. But how do I leave you? I told myself it was just a rough patch, and we could work through this. I will do more to make you love me again, because I don't give up on people. So why would I do that to you? I will put myself through hell for you. I will hate myself to love you. And I will rip myself apart so you can feel cared for. Because I was serious when I said I would die for you. Because I almost did. I guess I ripped myself apart so much that I had nothing left. I cared so much about you that I stopped caring about myself completely. I lost who I was, and I was no longer strong. And I watched myself change every day until I eventually became someone I told myself I'd never be. But it's my fault for not having a limit on how much I'm willing to give, and for how long I'm willing to stay. And for loving you more than I loved me. Because I loved you so much that it hurt. So I will never love the same after you. The poem being I Will Never Love the Same After You by Ali Harding. Thanks Reddit for support and validating my feelings. I don't know yet if I'm going to delete this or not, but I don't think I will update this or ever log into this account again. I hope everyone stays happy and healthy. Take care. I love the fact that he's unwilling to help around the house or help his wife until, shit hits the fan and he's actually facing divorce and things are getting really nasty. He's unwilling to do what needs to be done and actually just be there for her. But what he is willing to do is propose the fact that I can definitely care for someone else's child. I can definitely get someone else pregnant and raise their child, and we can, adopt them together. She'll be like a surrogate. But actually helping around the house and alleviating the stress and work? No, that's too much apparently. Honestly, it sounds like OP was just at their rope's end with how the relationship was going, and the fact that her husband then turned around and was like, yeah, I think we should open the relationship up. That'll solve our problems. Like, yeah, that'll solve your problem of not getting your dick wet, but it's not going to solve the problem that nothing is happening around the house. And that doesn't even begin to address the fact that OP has chronic pain, constant surgeries, is working a grueling amount of hours and days, and on top of that, doing all the cooking and cleaning around the house. What the fuck is your husband doing? Well, I guess that's for him to find out what he wasn't doing and for him to grow from that and learn the fact that the reason why he's single now is because he refused to do anything about it for years. The irony of the mom recommending couples counseling as if it's some kind of new revelation, only to find out that her son has been dodging it for over a year. That is quite the pill to swallow there. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.